Good day, I'm Ken Hart. I'm the CEO and the founder of Snowdrop Solutions. We've been working with Google Maps for many years now, and looking forward to spending some time with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicola Dalmazzo. I manage Google Maps platform for financial service for Europe. And yeah, happy to be here back to Money 2020.
Okay, my name is Yannis Grammatikos, and I'm a GM for retail products in Piraeus Bank in Greece. AI certainly plays a role today, but the point is that it will play a bigger role tomorrow in the direction of providing a more of a 3D image in regards to a customer's journey, and will help us understand better the customer needs, and not only his preferences in regards to the what and the how, but also the where. And this will enable us to provide a real-time offerings and suggestions of value for our customers.
So AI is obviously across all the headlines and what everyone's working on. At Snowdrop, we've been working for the last year to implement a generative AI model using Google's model, which is called Gemini. We use it to clean up and correctly identify more than 1 billion transactions a month. So we're using it to do two things: really make sure that people understand when they look at their bank statement, they clearly understand that's the merchant, that's where I spent the money, that's the area going, that I spent the money in. So we're using artificial intelligence in a responsible way, and we're grounding it with the underlying rich data of Google Places. So this is a very specific use case. It's very centered on making sure that transactions for the average consumer out there are crystal clear and intuitive. That's how we're using artificial intelligence. We're also expanding the use of artificial intelligence now with Google to go into new things like chatbots. So have smart agents say, do you want to spend 200 pounds per day on that business trip? Here's the restaurants or the hotels we would recommend you go visit. So as we enrich in more and more transactions, as we get better and better at this, the smart bots or the chat bots will get smarter and smarter in giving people really good recommendations on where to go. Anything you want to add, maybe?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely AI area, and this technology will change many things. Will change the way banks talk with consumer. Will change the way they operate to increase efficiency. Call center is one of that, but many others. So I think at Google, what we offer is definitely one of the best, if not the best, generative AI modeling. But then this has to be grounded in data. And Snowdrop is really working with us to bring the best of the data that the banks needs on every transaction, coupled with Google Maps, that is also very rich when it comes to merchants data.
Yeah, if I can add to it, just to give an example, a couple years ago, for us to find, say, 250,000 merchants would take about a person about a year and 3 months. Now we do it in a few hours using Google Artificial Intelligence. So, and we do it at scale. So it can be done in any language, any country, 24/7. So this is really a good use case of responsible, grounded artificial intelligence, and we're able to bring it to scale so people have much more intuitive transactions at their fingertips. Snowdrop started working with retail banks, dealing with consumers, back in 2017, early 2017, 2018, based in London. We were starting to work with some of these very new, what they called neobanks at the time, or challenger banks. And what we found is that at the time, people wanted to have a more transparent, intuitive banking relationship. Well, these new digital banks didn't want to create call centers, and they wanted to differentiate the experience from the existing traditional banks. So being able to show someone clearly, this is where you spent your money, click on a map, expand, get directions how to get there. Don't call the call center, right? Use your own intuitiveness in your phone to figure out what you're doing, where your money is being spent. So we started working many years ago now in this area. And what we're seeing is that it started in the UK, And this is now being adopted throughout Europe, throughout the Middle East, Southeast Asia, et cetera, et cetera. So we've been very fortunate to work with some brilliant banks in the UK, these challenger banks or neobanks, but now we're seeing the traditional banks are also embracing this technology. And it's a great experience. People generally are happier and they have more trust and loyalty in their bank. And we see over the next couple of years, this will just continue to grow.
Yeah, I would say, at the beginning we're really like this innovative bank, but today is something that every consumer expects, right? A bank that is very clear, as app, as web, maybe will start to talk to you, right? Because at the end of the day, also the new generation just expect that as it works for TikTok, for YouTube, for any other like major apps. Also the bank app should be the same, right? And today with the Google technology, you can bring this into the app, and it's something that every bank's really looking into it at.
Where it is true that Visa played a significant role. We are a local bank with a very strong team, but we also eager for insight. And Visa guarantees a global insight into what's happening out there in the payments ecosystem. And through its fintech program, suggested Snowdrop as a possible partner, and made the introduction, provide the context, and it was easy thereafter for the two parties to find a common ground and evaluate the opportunity. There are a number of benefits, very simple, but very important. So for one, you replace a burden with a positive experience. The repetitive questioning of what is this transaction and where was it and did I do it, with listen, you've been there in this nice location and you have the full name, the commercial name and the logo and a clear understanding of the MCC, which is a good reading with nice byproducts all the way from how you read your wallet statistics to being able to manage your budget effectively. But also it allows us to safeguard the customer, and it saves time from both the customer and our communication channels from answering questions in regards to the where and the how and so on. So it's a very good proposition.
Location in general is something important in our life, right? So every time you do a transaction or you purchase something, that location matters for, first to make sure that it's you and it's not a fraud, etc. But sometimes also is a memory, something that you want to remember, right? So when we think about bringing this transaction data enriched with Google Maps, that give you a location, but give you also all the information of the merchant, right? When you look for a restaurant in Google Maps, normally you look for a picture, you look for reviews, you look for many things. The same things can you find in your bank app. And actually it becomes that, maybe you don't remember where you were last year in Money 2020 in a very nice Indian restaurant. Well, maybe in the future, or even maybe already today with some of these apps, you can just ask and say, okay, where I was last year in Money 2020 eating out. And the bank, since he has the history of your transaction, can give you this back to you, okay? These are very cool use cases that can also increase the NPS, can also increase the time into the app, and also the confidence and the dialogue within banks and consumers. So when we talk this to many banks, they are really interested on that, and we're really looking forward to develop these solutions.
Embracing geolocation services into our offering had been a strategic choice, because it is part of a transaction that we tend to neglect. We tend to spend too much time analyzing the time, the tool used, whether it's plastic or card or a wallet, the amount of ticket or the MCC. But we tend to ignore the very place of truth, like we say, moment of truth, the place of truth. So we feel that by enabling the geolocation, we will acquire a better insight of our customer journey. We will provide better insights in order to be useful to him, and we will also be able to protect him more.
We've been very fortunate to work with Google for almost 11 years now. So we started working in the real estate sector and in the travel sector. So the idea would be like, Nicola's talking about places, what's a good restaurant, or imagine you're going on holiday, is that hotel near the beach, how do I get there? So we started building, using Google Maps, that intuitive interface that people they look at a map and they get it. That's what an intuitive experience is. And we've been very fortunate because we take some of the best practices from real estate and travel and we brought those into the financial services sector, right? If you think about a couple of years ago, no one would say banking is a fun experience. Banking is an intuitive experience. It was always opaque, lack of clarity. When you go abroad, what are the transfer fees? What are the exchange fees, right? So we've been very fortunate to take all that expertise, both in the technology side from Google, but also the implementation and learning best practices. So 10 years of experience, billions and billions and billions of maps loaded since then. We've been able to develop, I would argue, a very close collaboration that we're able to take the best and optimize these experiences using the greatest technology out of Google. And where Google may have a few gaps, for example, Google doesn't do logos. That's where Snowdrop fills those gaps. And so by working together, it's an extremely strong partnership. And we've been fortunate again at Snowdrop that the global coverage of Google Maps, I think it's 200 million points of interest. That's a lot of places mapped out in the world, right? That we're able to expand and offer these services to any bank anywhere. So it's a very tight collaboration, close collaboration. And one was just starting. If you think about generative AI and all the additional work we're going to be doing together.
Yeah, I mean, from my side, I know Ken also from more than 5 years. We met in Singapore first, and now I moved to Europe, and so we continue this kind of partnership. Google has a lot of partners that really their duty is to take the technology that we have and just implement in the companies, right? And Snowdrop is one of the largest we have in Europe. And it's also something new. Like we are really looking also in these companies that take our technology and build new products based on our technology to make it easier also the implementation, right? Because we used to go to every bank, so we continue to go to every bank to sell the technology, but banks' ecosystem is very complex. They might have a lot of priorities. Instead, having already something very easy in an API created for a specific use case to be implemented with our technology at the back is a very cool solution, right? So Snowdrop built that. We are supporting them both in continuing to build it and improving, and also to go to talk all the banks and give this value proposition together, right? Yeah. Well, every year Money 2020 is the same place, but it's very different inside, right? Like, for example, last year there was like pretty much no crypto. This year crypto is back to big time. Last year I saw also like still some links to COVID, so not a lot of movement, etc. Today there's a lot of people here, a lot of brands back. My wish is really like to continue to learn, because I'm here first to learn, to understand an industry, and secondly really to talk with leaders about our technology and see if this can solve problems for them, for their balance sheet, but also problem for the consumer they're trying to serve. So yeah, that's what I wish.
Like Nicola, it's great to be here, great to learn from all the discussions, all the different presentations. And frankly, it's a great, unique opportunity to meet up from banks from Latin America and the Middle East, all across Europe and stuff like that. I think the problems that Nicola talked about, what problems can we solve for people? What problems can we help banks for their consumers? That's what I call a toothbrush problem. So we want to solve problems that affect everyone. Like, what is that transaction You know, that's something if you're young, old, male, female, you're gonna have that problem. Hopefully every day we can solve that problem for you. Like use your toothbrush, hopefully every day, hopefully twice a day. So as we look forward to spending more and more time with partners and building out an ecosystem of partners, we want to discover what other problems we can help solve, what are big problems that everyone has that we can solve. So looking for understanding what people's toothbrush problems are is what we're here to do.
Every year it seems to be a new hype that everybody talks about it. This year is AI, certainly. So, which is always a good thing these days. Always my biggest two takeaways is the passion with which people and fintechs and newcomers preach for their solutions and provide genuine insight, and the opportunity to network and create strong relationships.